Okay, this is going to be our weekly update. So starting here on the north side of the property, we have our first pear tree. Has not yet been pruned, but should be pruned this weekend. So we can see that there's this kind of bud here, and this kind of bud there. Hopefully with this video's help, we'll figure out what all those are. There's a slightly different kind. So I guess this is, good example right here of the two different kinds. There's this kind coming off the old growth, which I would assume is going to be another lamb. And this bud's here, which I would guess is going to be a fruit. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that's definitely going to be a lot different in a few weeks once all that stuff is pruned. All those water sprouts on the top, crisscrossing, and all that jazz. So here's our cherry tree with its hugeness. Way too tall again. Probably the tallest part there, probably 12 to 14 feet, and that's really high. The thing about the way they did this though is that there's nothing, the lowest, except for this little guy right here, which is completely shaded, and a couple others, the lowest branches are 4-5 feet. There's none. I mean, these branches come off the main stem, but there's nothing on them except for this one going straight down here. So this is the lowest, like 6 feet. So I'm not sure exactly the idea behind that, but there's a ton of stuff and all these little spurs. So once again, we can see, I'm guessing is the new growth, last year's growth, and then the older growth. And so, yeah, now I can see that quite nicely now. Okay, maybe I'm understanding here, where little spurs grow out. Here's a little spur, and these little buds. Now the sun's coming out. Hopefully I'll be able to see this better. This little guy right there. So I would guess that these guys are going to be new, all going to be little cherry blossoms and stuff. So hopefully that's what this video will tell us. And so looks like there's little different structures. There's the older growth that has these little spurs popping off, as you can see in all these. So in this section right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of these clusters coming right off. And then in this little shoot that's about 6-7 inches, it's got little ones coming off. What I'm used to. Here there's a cluster, but this one shot out here, so not exactly sure how this is all gonna shake out, but it'll be exciting to see. So I haven't really looked much at the cherry tree as far as to examine what needs to be done with it. It's supposed to be a modified central leader or a central leader, but we've got 2 feet up, have a split, the 2 main branches, and it doesn't look like either of those right now. So yeah, so anyway, we'll just keep this an update video. So right now, just that, lots of those little clusters all over the place. So for that, next up is our apple tree. What kind, I'm not sure, but we'll find out this year. Hopefully it'll bear some fruit. Last year no fruit, but we still have leaves from last year on the very tops. I knocked off some of the old desiccated mummified fruit there because didn't actually have any apples that I thought last year. I don't know if that was from the year before, but there's some mummified fruit up there hidden. So this apple tree is leaning quite a bit, but if it were straight, it would still be, I don't know, a little tricky. There's lots and lots of branches everywhere. And right now, there's this curious fuzzy looking stuff on there. I don't know what that, this looks like mildewy type of thing. A soft, downy mildew, fuzzy. I don't know what the deal is, if that's normal, if that's something wrong with it, or whatnot, but it is all over. And I don't see, I mean, it looks like this kind of reminds me of that with the new buds, but the buds are almost non-existent. There's like these little bumps that could be buds, and then I don't know if that's just how this tree works. It goes later, I don't know. But we see a very different structure here. So still, this looks newer than the old stuff. I'm guessing that this is the last year's growth and this is before that. But it's, like I said, it has this stuff which does rub off. So I'm not sure if it's some sort of a infection or what. But anyway, so a lot of work to be done, but really, like I say, no, these are them here. These are the buds. Let's see if this is, hope this is in focus. But there's a few of them, but they have these little, like I said, mildew all over them, every single one of them. And not sure what to make of that, so I guess we'll see what happens. Definitely be pruning that to try and clean some of it out, but don't know what it is. So anyway, our white peach is next. It's growing up. And oh yeah, that apple tree is 12, 14 feet tall. But white peach tree, also not yet pruned, but like I said, a couple weeks, all these will be pruned since we're here in the first week of March. So we have the red wood, which I'm guessing last year's growth, versus the contrast there. Might be able to see it a little better over here in the sunlight. Looks like we got some goober canker stuff going on there. So there are some definite buds coming out there. Still kind of a little confused about this because this wood is a different color. It's obviously a lot thicker than this wood. These are both the same color, that's the old color, so I don't know, this might be a little trickier to figure out what's last year's and what's not, because here you can see red on the end and not red, even though they're almost the same diameter. So I have to figure this out, but definitely got some buds there. And yeah, so we had a lot of fruit on this one last year. Some of them were up there, up tall. We need to prune that back a bit so that we don't have to get a ladder, because it's quite a pain to get a ladder and do this. And the ones hanging over the fence as well. So this is pear tree number 2. This one I did do some preliminary pruning on it to cut it back a bit, try to clean it up. See how that turns out. Once again, we have the smooth new wood here. Once again, it's kind of hard for me to understand because this definitely looks new, but this doesn't. This looks like older, but down here, this wood here has that same color of the new wood, but it's way thicker. And here you can actually see that there's a healed up snip. So obviously that wood is older than it looks. So like I said, not sure how this looks out here. And you can see some of those same same swollen things as on the other pear tree from before. So just have to see what this turns out to be. Here's a whole bunch of little buds where there's buds there, there. They're starting to have this little green edge of the tip. They're going to swell up at the end. Might be getting ready to pop. Yeah. Very interesting. Excited to see, compare these videos and pictures to see how it is. And last but certainly not least, our apricot tree, the very southern edge here. Large and spreading. Definitely need to get it off of that fence because several branches on the fence. And yeah, so right now we've got noticed the other day we have 2 different types of, I guess, growth and buds and stuff. So when I was looking up at some of the stuff up there that's way up, they've got these tiny little spurs that come out, and look more like these guys, and the ones that are hanging over the overhang there, which is the ones that I'm looking to actually cut back so it's back in our yard, they have the different stuff, more like these little spurs here. So I don't know how exactly the fruiting goes on this one. This one doesn't look quite as obvious with the color change as some of the other trees, so we'll have to figure it out. But definitely all that stuff over that's hanging over needs to come back on our side. Some serious crossing here. Shading. All that stuff. There's little clusters. See up there, you can see lots of stuff growing over the fence, lots of clusters, all kinds of stuff. I want the tree to be fruitful, but I want it to be in our yard and not across the fence. Alright, that's the wrap up.